As Iyanu's family vehicle drove down the Lekki-Epe Expressway, the sun began to set over the busy streets of Lagos. There was laughter in the car. Mr. Dorojaye, Iyanu's father, was driving and singing a song from the radio. Wuraola, her mother, was teasing Iyanu in amusement for getting ice cream all over her new dress while she was turning around in her chair. The sound of Iyanu's laughter was so pure that it could warm even the coldest heart. She was 8 years old, and her heart was unaffected by sadness. Unaware that everything could change in an instant, she sat in the back seat with her stuffed bunny. They were coming back from what would turn out to be Iyanu's favorite memory. At the Lekki Conservation Centre, where the family had spent the afternoon, Iyanu pointed excitedly at every bird that passed by and giggled when she saw monkeys swinging from the canopy walkway. She roared with laughter as her father, dressed as a lion, carried her on his shoulders. They sat down close to the swamps and enjoyed suya, meat pies, and steaming jollof rice after her mother packed the picnic bag with Iyanu's favorite foods. They ate and then lay on a mat beneath the tall trees, telling stories and observing the drifting clouds. Iyanu's mother referred to her as my princess, while plaiting a tiny plait into her hair. Her father photographed the two of them grinning in the golden glow of a Lagos sunset, while preserving the moment. The three of them smiled at the camera in his final picture, with joy captured in every line as the sunlight moved through their faces. Iyanu would often dream about that day, which in all its simplicity and humor became the jewel in her heart. However, destiny had other ideas. The accident was sudden, violent, and cruel. It happened while they were singing an old Sunny Ade song. At a terrifying speed, a tanker truck with apparently malfunctioning brakes lost control and swerved into their lane. Everything changed in an instant. In the rearview mirror, her father's eyes grew wide. He yelled, "Hold on tight, baby," and shielded Iyanu with one arm. Her mother gripped Iyanu's hands tightly as she twisted in her chair. "Iyanu, have courage no matter what. My dear, you are strong. Remember that always." Iyanu's father was trying to protect his family by sharply turning the wheel the last time she saw him. Like a human shield, her mother leaned over her. There was a screech and a crash that sounded like a breaking of the sky. Metal folded, glass exploded, and there was silence. A world-sucking silence. Iyanu felt darkness envelop her like a thick shield. She could no longer hear her mother's heart beat against her ear. Her father's embrace lost its warmth. Iyanu was also by herself. She woke up in an island hospital, bruised, confused, and by herself. Her parents had died, the nurse informed her firmly but gently. That day, Iyanu's world came to an end. Iyanu was admitted to the Lifeline Orphanage in Ebute Metta, Lagos, following a brief hospital stay. The authorities were forced to transfer her there since no family members had come forward to claim her, and there was no money to cover her hospital expenses. The identities of her parents were known, but no one was able to fill the void left by their untimely deaths. Not a family friend, not a grandparent, not a cousin. In those few days, the hospital staff had come to like her. When government officials arrived for Iyanu, a nurse named Chika sobbed quietly. She tucked a tiny teddy bear into Iyanu's arms and whispered, "You deserve so much more." Iyanu was just another lost child, and the system was uncaring. Like the kids it held, the structure that welcomed her to Lifeline was old and worn out. The swing in the dusty yard murmured with rust, and the paint on the walls was starting to peel. It had an aging, hopeless smell. However, Iyanu entered silently while still holding onto the teddy bear and her mother's scarf. During those initial months, Iyanu hardly spoke. Like a lifeline, she clung to her mother's scarf. At first, the other kids avoided her. Some were nice, some were unconcerned, and some were as damaged as she was. The director of the orphanage saw something strange shortly after Iyanu arrived at Lifeline. Monthly contributions from an anonymous donor were sufficient to pay for a child's meals, clothing, and essential school supplies. The note that accompanied the money always said, "For Iyanu, make good use of it." Such consistency was rare in the orphanage. The matrons were suspicious at first. However, the girls discreetly accepted the blessing when a kind donation arrived, just in time to replace their textbooks and fixed the hostel's leaking roof. Iyanu eventually started high school, an expensive private school that none of the other orphans could have imagined going to. Once more, the fees were paid in secret. "You must be unique, Iyanu," the matron said to her. "There is someone out there who finds something in you." At Lifeline, affection was hard to come by. Clothes were passed down until they hardly held together. Meals were small and too far apart, and life was difficult. Many of the children arrived with their own scars, and the matrons were underpaid and overworked. She quickly realized that the only way to survive in a place like Lifeline was to become indispensable or invisible. The latter was her choice. Iyanu took advantage of the quiet to watch while others wept at night. She observed how the matron arranged the food, how the older kids looked out for the younger ones, and how hidden alliances were formed. She learned to cook rice with few ingredients, volunteered to help with the babies, and used threads she took from old curtains to sew torn uniforms. Clever, gentle, and trustworthy, she soon established herself as a go-to girl. She calmed children when they fought. She kept a wet rag by the bedside when someone became ill. Her kindness turned into a currency, and her quiet strength into a shield. She gained endurance and the ability to turn suffering into motivation as a result of it all. She learned unglamorous skills at the orphanage, like how to use a single bar soap, how to listen without talking, and how to accept rejection without becoming hardened. And when it was finally time to go, she left prepared rather than broken. She was appreciative and thankful to be alive. She was thankful for the strength she was unaware she possessed. She left Lifeline on her 17th birthday after packing her small belongings, 2 dresses, a ripped sketchbook, and her late mother's scarf, which had served as a comfort item for her. She had no family, no friends, and no assurance of goodwill when she entered the world. Will Iyanu ever get over her parents' death? Will she survive all alone in the world? Will Iyanu survive after leaving the orphanage, or will she return? Stay tuned and find out in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories. If you want to know more about the story, please give it a thumbs up.